Hi everyone, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining. Today would hope you can all hear me. And Mariam, can you still hear me? Hi Phoebe, are you able to still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Success.
Okay, awesome. Hi, welcome to today's community of practice session. We are really excited to have you here with us. And as practice, we just give an additional minute for more people to join. But in the meantime, I would like to um, introduce our speaker, Mariam, who is with us here today. So please permit me to turn off my video so that I can read out Mariam's bio. Okay. So Mariam Suleiman is a doctoral researcher in mechanical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin. Her research focus is on human AI collaboration and AI in engineering design. She obtained her master's in electrical and computer engineering from the Carnegie Mellon University and her bachelor's in electrical and electronics from the Federal University of Technology, Minna, in Nigeria. Recently, she was selected as winner for the Women in Engineering Rising Star Award under the manufacturing category by the International SAE Media Group. She is currently a Wells Multi-Initiative alumni and previously served as a Global Advisory Board member. She's also the co-founder of Females in Clean Energy Foundation, focused on realizing SDG 5 and SDG 7 in Nigeria rural communities through mentorship, STEM outreaches, workshop trainings, and community development. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mariam. And while we still encourage everyone to introduce yourself in the chat, let Mariam know that you're with us and, maybe expectations from this session where we get to talk about AI tools and how it can help us streamline our workflow, be more efficient in our careers, in our businesses. So, what do you expect from this session? Please, you can put that in the comments, in the chat, and just, let us know what you're expecting and how excited you are for this session. Because we have 7 minutes past, I would want to pass over the baton to Mariam now. So, Mariam, you're welcome to begin. Thank you.
Um, Thank you very much, Success. It's a pleasure to be here. Uh, Give me a moment to figure out the spot. Um, Share entire screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Can someone confirm if you all can see my screen? I think I stopped sharing for a while.
We can see your screen, Mariam.
Okay, all right, awesome. Thank you. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, from wherever you're joining from. Thank you very much, Success, and um the whole AWEP team for inviting me for the session. I hope that before the end or by the end of the session, the participant or we all will have been able to gain one or two as regards to utilizing AI for productivity and also improving our workflow with the
Okay.
integration of AI. So I'll just go ahead and start. See. So I wanted to just share kind of a brief about what AI, because in terms of like using or utilizing AI for productivity, I think the part for this presentation we are going to be focusing on is generative AI. And AI is kind of like a buzzword right now that like a lot of people are like AI, 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 but like there are many like branches or like levels to like AI. And so in terms of like generative AI, it comes under the branch of like machine learning, which is a sub branch under artificial intelligence. And so basically AI is or like our system that helps to like reduce the or helps like improve like autonomy in terms of like reducing human interaction with a system or whatever you are utilizing the AI for. And so it tends to help like mimic like human cognition. Like that's how human think, how humans work or interact with others like and the environment. And so generative AI in this case comes under the level of machine learning. And machine learning is just basically learning or like teaching your machine or your computer to learn from a whole or a massive amount of data. So let's say, for instance, you'd have like you want your model to be able to like identify like dogs. So you want to have like pictures of let's say over 1,000 picture like different variations of like dogs. And so you probably have that 80% of your data trained on like different picture variations of dog, and then you now use like probably like the remaining 20% to be able to like test if your model can actually like detect dogs. And so like coming deeper down to like generative AI is basically like trained using also like I think generative AI right now, the more common name is large language models. And so what this basically from the name is what this says is training your your AI or your model on a large amount of data from like text, images, code. And so basically training it to be able to like converse like humans, to be able to generate new outputs or new content as like a human would be able to do. So that is basically what generative AI is. And just to give like a bit of context of like AI. So AI is actually like a lot of like different parts. And so you have like machine learning, like which what I just talked about, natural language processing, which is also like part of like generative AI. You're talking about like your chatbots, you're talking about like your virtual assistants. Um, then you have like computer vision, which is basically being able to like interpret like images. Then you have like robotics, that is like probably like teaching a more like physical object as regards to like how to interact with like a human or the environment. And then you have like expert systems, which are basically like probably like AI tools that are able to like make decisions in place or as a human would make decisions. And then you have neural networks and deep learning, which are also like shared initially. And you have like fuzzy logics, which are very common, let's say in like your control environment. Case in point, you can like picture like a washing machine. You know you have like all those controls there. So like that falls like under like AI, being able to like press okay, how long you want like your washing machine to run for, and then at what temperature you want it to do the washing, all those systems being put in place. And then you have like evolutionary computation and swarm intelligence. They come swarm intelligence where you have like um let's say thousands of like mini drones working together like in symphony. Let's say for instance you wanted to like visualize WMI, and then you'd have like this many small drones like coming together or working together in and synchronously like creating that visualization of WMI. And then you have like cognitive computing, which involves like utilization of like human cognition to be able to like achieve intelligence in whatever like system or object that you're working on. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to give like a brief overview of like what AI is. And so yeah, hopefully like what I've said so far is it's insightful. And then moving on for today, now moving on to like the main session for today, we're going to be going through like basically like what AI is right now, and also like the tools across or the different like AI assistive tools that you could be able to like utilize across like different domains. And then also kind of like an example of like real case studies and see like how it would be like utilized or integrated into like challenges with regards to like real life situations or context. And then kind of like a potential action plan. It's um yeah. So currently we are living in a world where like everything is moving so fast. Like the world is advancing at an increasingly rapid rate. And there is, and now in that word, now there is AI. I don't know if all of us could remember, like in 2020, I think that was in 2023 or 2022 when ChatGPT came out. Like it was very insane. Like there was this whole buzzword, like everybody was like, wow, like at everyone was very basically like wow at the extent at which like um an AI model can be able to like generate content like a human. So and presently, moving on to now, that's 2023, according to like McKinsey report, 40% of workday tasks can be automated with AI today, which is true. And then moving on, Nelson Norman Group, also in 2023 report, has also been able to like identify that productivity gain for AI assistant workers, like comparing the productivity gain with workers that utilize AI and then workers that don't utilize AI. So you'd have 2.6 times gain. Not better, but like yeah, like more like better gain, like more time, more efficiency, comparing that with like those that don't utilize AI. And then lastly, you also have currently potentially generative AI rather, having or contributing over $4.4 trillion into the annual GDP. Like a lot of companies right now are investing in everything related to AI and then to generative AI. I think if you've basically every app now, even as far as like your WhatsApp, basically every company or every like establishment are trying to like integrate AI into their product. So AI doesn't replace smart people. I feel that is what I think. Um, doesn't replace smart driven people, it only amplifies what you already bring to the table. And so in this regards, when you're using AI for your workflow or whatever you're going to be using your AI for to like assist you, it's supposed to just serve as an assistive tool to support you with like what you already know. You are the main person, you are the subject expert, you are the value. So um yeah, AI is just there to like support what you already know or like improve or enhance what you already have in you. And then moving on, just wanted to share like more context as regards to like generative AI. Um, so a lot of people when they think about like the whole generative AI, some people are thinking like maybe it's like kind of like magical or like it's threatening. There's this whole like fear of like, okay, AI is gonna be like taking our work or taking our job. And I feel like it's with the way the world is advancing right now, like you actually have no choice than to use AI because like you have companies, for instance, you already have like WhatsApp having the Meta AI in their distinct platform. So you have like if you're watching Netflix, you already have like an AI toolbox that can be able to like help you like streamline or like personalize like what content you want to watch and all of those. So like it's not something you could actually escape right now at the current world we are in, and which just says that it's actually something you have to learn to like adapt. If not, like you would be left behind. And it will interest you to know that currently, like recruiters, I know of like some of my colleagues or friends who like attended interviews, and the recruiters are actually like looking for like people or like individuals that know how to like utilize AI into the workflow. Why? Because like it saves times, it saves cost, and like the time you used to do like probably like 10 hours of task would be cut down into for so that means you'll be able to like achieve more tasks like and which also like improve productivity of the entire company or establishment. And so Interestingly, GPT reached 100 million users in 60 days. That is like the fastest ever that a technology has been adopted in human history, which that was insane amount of data to see. And then currently in the US, we have like 73% of workers now use AI tools at work, like I said. And then AI literacy is now a top five workplace skill globally, which sort of like ties back to interviewers now, like or recruiters now, or employers now needing people with AI literacy skills. And with regards to like utilizing AI tools, so you have like you have a lot of companies that have actually invested in this AI, and now companies are trying to like justify like their investment in AI. And so you would have like companies using a more like personalized or contextual like um workflow. Let's say, for instance, co-pilots, like Microsoft co-pilots. So you'd have that branch of like business to business partnership. And so like companies are able to like utilize co-pilot for their own establishment based off of like their area of like focus and all. I remember like when I was discussing with a friend recently, the friend was telling me that like the company, and that this is a very big company, like a very huge like semiconductor company. Like the company is actually like encouraging them, like is actually like pushing them that like they should please, that is even begging them actually that they should please utilize like AI in their workflow. And in addition to that, like he even like went to like tell me like how like I think the manager utilized like co-pilots for um a document search. So I think they were supposed to like find like a document that was created, I think probably like 6 or 10 years ago. And this document like he has it in the system, he has it somewhere, but he had just forgotten like what the name was. And so using like Copilot was able to like, okay, ask Copilot to help him search where exactly this file is in his own like folder or like cloud system. So that is how like, or that is ways that like companies or organizations are utilizing like this in AI in their workflow. And if he wanted to like search for like that data like manually, like he basically has like a lot of like document or files, and remember like he doesn't even know like what like name he used to save that file. So it was just easier to use like Copilot to be able to sort for those information, instead of like for me I'll probably go to my like check all my document folders. Okay, it's not there, and maybe like I'll use the search tool, but the search tool will probably not even like give me like what I really want, or like direct me towards the exact document I'm looking for. And so, in terms of like how I gave an example of like using Copilot. So basically, you give a prompt that like this is how it works, like Copilot and other like generative chatbots or like tools. So you give it a prompt, that's a question, request, or an instruction. Then the AI processes the context, generates a response, and then you might. It depends on like what you're actually giving it. So if it's a document, if you're looking for like probably just an information, then you might probably, there's no need for you to like refine or apply it. But if you're looking for just an information, it depends on whether you want to apply it or you're just looking for information to just like to just gain more knowledge or awareness. And so like if it's kind of like a documental thing, probably you're working on the proposal, then you want to like review, edit, and then use it in your work. And so currently these are the core like foundational like AI tools that basically everybody should know. I know there are more, but like these are the main ones that like me, I kind of like use or utilize in my own like workflow, work environment. Um, so you have like OpenAI's GPT, you have Claude, you have Gemini, you have Copilot. Basically, this for LLMs, call them LLMs, like I initially said, or large language models. You could easily use them for anything. You could easily use them for writing. You could use them to like improve or like enhance like your research task. You can also easily like use it to be able to like improve like your coding, ask questions or learn about coding, brainstorming. If you're doing like engineering design, you can be able to like utilize it to like help you like come up with like ideas, like the ideation part of like engineering design. You can also help like ask it to help you like develop like long documents, like text to be able to of like content. And then yeah, there's also like live search integration in terms of like Google Gemini. I know Google Gemini is like integrated into my email, like my work email right now. So when I write an email, like I already know like what I want. Then before it hits send, Gemini or the Google Gemini like creates its own version of like an improved version of what I've written. Usually for me in my own context, I usually don't like apply everything because like I feel like I have like the main decision or discretion to be able to know like what I can take or what I can extract to be able to like improve my own email and not necessarily just succumb or like just like apply or adopt everything the generative AI gives me. Um I think I still want to like maintain like that personalization. That's me. And then you have Perplexity AI. Perplexity AI is an AI model or tool that I usually utilize for like AI research. Um, just to give a little bit of like context in terms of like Perplexity AI. So usually like since I'm doing my PhD or like research work currently, I usually have to like do a lot of like search of like research paper that is related to my work or like what I am trying to just again like more knowledge, more like context, like more findings, like what is currently out there, like what is the methodology like being used right now. And so Felicity AI is in terms of research is something that it's a tool that helps me to just like easily like find research papers related to the subject matter. Um let's say for instance this is Perplexity AI. Let me see. Can anyone in the chat give me like a particular topic or area of interest, like a research area that they're interested in? Let's see. Then we can just choose one. Someone should just put in the chat like a particular research area or that they are interested in. It could be something related to health or something related to technology or something related to AI. Epigenetics of type 2 diabetes in Africa. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. All right, I want to use that using like normal like search. Even like our normal search now has also been enhanced with AI. So let's say research papers on one copy. I don't know why that isn't copy. Epigenetic of type 2 diabetes in Africa. Let's see again if it's copied. No, it didn't. So there's Africa. Okay, it's thinking. So currently these are the um works like just using normal Google, like it outputted. It's actually kind of like a lot. There's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, kind of nine of them. But using Perplexity AI, just let me see. I need more search papers on. So in this case, I don't know, Ahmad, like, could you probably like input, like, is there a specific content like findings you're actually like looking for with this type of research. So, but yeah, that would depend. This might take, let's see. Yeah, looking for research papers on type 2 diabetes and epigenetics in Africa. And so instead of like you doing all those like search and like going through, like Perplexity AI would help you to like just easily like extract out those papers. It might probably take a while. We'll come back to that. So, oh no. Okay, yes. So that's for Perplexity AI. So basically helps with like real-time like web research with like cited sources. I find it to be like more efficient in terms of like looking for research papers. And honestly, from my experience with Perplexity AI, there are some like research papers that have like the contents that I'm looking for that's like using the normal like Google search or probably like Google Scholar um won't like introduce me to. Using Google Scholar, it means like there's a whole lot of like noise. That's what I mean, noise. Like there's a whole lot of like research paper like I have to go through to look for like the exact content I want. But with Perplexity AI, I think you can actually like add more information as regards to like what particular key content in terms of like, for instance, the epigenetics of type 2 research, diabetes research in Africa, like what particular content are you looking for? So adding that particular key information also helps you to like streamline like the research papers that you would get. And I've been able to find like more deeply like relevant research paper compared to like just using the normal like traditional method of search. And then you have Grammarly AI. This can be like infused into like your Word document to help with like clarifying your grammar in terms of like improving the tone and like errors, grammatical errors. Um, and then, so moving on, I just wanted to like share more or a little bit of information as regards to like for specific like task or activities based on like your work environment on based on who you are, maybe an undergrad or a graduate student or maybe like a working professional. So there are like a lot of like research tools that you could be able to like utilize. So aside from Perplexity AI, you also have Elicit is also like an AI research assistant too that helps you like extract. This one more of like helps you extract like insights from academic papers. So like from those insights you can be able to find like okay which particular like paper would be like very relevant to you moving forward with your research. Um there's also consensus, also similarly helps you like search and synthesize evidence from like peer-reviewed research automatically. There's connected papers too. Connected papers too is very good in terms of like it helps you like visualize. So usually like in terms of like research, I usually see like after going through like the research paper, I usually like go through the references because the references too also have like associated or like related research papers that would also be like very good or very relevant in terms of the research. And like connected papers just helps you like visualize like how papers, all those papers like are connected. Say for instance, you have paper A citing paper B, and then you have also like paper C citing paper B. So you just have like that visual map of like that connection of like the different citations, how like they connect. And then in terms of like development tools, even aside development tools, does like a tool for let's say organization, a tool for like helping you to like schedule. You have like Notion AI, it's a very like powerful tool to help you like take notes. It also helps you to like you could also like extract like your research paper into like Notion AI and then it will like have like kind of like a word version of your research paper and then you can be able to like make annotations or like make like comments in the different chunks of the paper you've extracted out. And then you have like GitHub Copilot. This one is very relevant for like different programmers. So this basically just helps you to able to like write or complete or explain your code in real time. Let's say for instance you were coding and then you met like a roadblock or an error with your code. Like having this infused helps you to be able to like easily like identify those errors. And then you have view over reversal. This is basically for like people that are interested in like UI UX, like user experience. No code needed. Just helps you to like generate like full UI prototypes from like test descriptions. And so probably if you have like a product or an idea you're conceptualizing and you want to know like how it looks on probably you want to pitch it to investors or you want to pitch it to like a small community of people, this can just help you generate like um a visual sketch or a model of like how it should look like. And this is kind of like a case study of the typical like life like of a PhD student. So you have to like review, just imagine you have to review over 150 papers for a systematic review. And so maybe your advisor even ask you to like, okay, in those 150 plus papers, extract what is the research purpose, what is the research questions, um, what is the significance, what is the methodology used, and so you have to like get all this information from this 150 plus papers. Like that is a lot of tasks to do, and then you probably have like this like 3 weeks time frame. So utilizing like Perplexity, like AI, and like all these tools can be able to like cut down like the amount of time you spend in those 3 weeks. First of all, like to go find 150 papers plus papers on your research area is actually a very tedious task to do just alone. Talk more of like, okay, now going through like, okay, having to like go through each of those research papers. So, tools like this helps you to be able to like, yeah, cut down time or reduce time that you would spend like searching for research papers and trying to like review individual content. And meanwhile, it's not all the research paper that even come up like or that comes up that would be like very relevant to like what you are interested in or what's your focus area. And so you typically be able to use like tools like this to be able to like cut down time with regards to this particular challenge. And then moving on, in terms of for those that love like creative, those that love to design, um, so these are like examples of like professional like um tools or AI assistive tools you could also be able to like utilize. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Like Canva AI is also like a very good like tool in terms of I usually use like Canva to so you already have like templates of like Canva, but you could also like enhance like the themes of like your presentation or your slide to be able to get like the kind of like tone or outlook you want for your presentation. And I know there's previously been a session on like utilization of Canva AI for this thing, for graphic design. I think that was given by Dr. Isaac. Um so it's free. There's also like kind of like a paid version. But for I think for me currently, utilizing Canva AI is kind of like infused into like the school account. So I think one thing to like if you're looking at these tools, there are some tools that like your school as an organization actually like pays for because it knows that okay, students actually utilize the school for like sorry, these tools for like their coursework to help them. So you would also want to like check if um your school has like access or like permits you to like use the tool. So you just have to use like your school email to access this tool and utilize it. And then there's in terms of like visuals and like quality arts and like mood boards. So you'd have like Midjourney, you also have Looker, but these are like paid. You have to like pay for to be able to like use the tool. So this helps you like to be able to like create like your own branded logo and then like your identity as an organization being infused into like your logo and all of that. It's very useful for entrepreneurs and um, founders of like organizations. And then moving on, there's Adobe Firefly. So this also helps with like image generation, although it's very kind of like very limited because it's trained only on the licensed Adobe stock contents. Then there's DALL-E, which is by OpenAI as well. It's also integrated into GPT. So you could use this for like illustrations or infographics. Let's say, for instance, you're trying to like share information about like a particular like content, or maybe let's say even AI. Since we're discussing about AI, and so you want like illustrations of like how the different branches of AI like infuses together, and then you probably want to add like let's say little like graphics of to be able to like make it more relatable or engaging. And then you have like Runway and ML. So it's also an AI tool that's for like image editing. It helps you to like remove background. I know sometimes like someone would ask me to, I want to use my picture for something like, and I don't want that background to be there, or I want to change the background color. So these are tools that you could be able to like utilize to achieve that. And then moving on, you have like in terms of like project management and communication. I think I already shared before, like in terms of like managing of task, managing of like scope of work, management of like um different work orders related to like your organization, related to your work. Like you have Notion AI that could be able to help you to streamline those tasks, and you typically have like moving how it's helps you to like automatically automate, like so you have, let's say for instance, you have like a communication kind of like task where you'd probably need to like generate like content, or not really content, or a document to help like engineers doing their field work to be able to like detect, like let's say like leakages. So there is like a line of like work here. The work starts from you. You have the like work orders. The work starts from you, then it moves to the engineers, and then from the engineers, it probably moves to the project manager, which probably like so you typically have like you, the main person who would create the documents, and then it has to now move. When you're done with creating, you just have to upload and then move that workflow to the engineers who will utilize the documents. And then when the engineers are done with it, then it moves to like the manager who reviews and like assesses the document to see that okay, yeah, the engineers actually did the good work. Or maybe it can be the other way around. From you creating the document, then probably your project manager has to like or has to like assess the document that you use that and say, okay, yes, it goes through like an approval phase before the engineers utilize them. So basically all of those workflow. Instead of creating like long emails and stuff, like you could just like input that into this workflow. And so basically immediately you're done, you just have to like upload it, and then your project manager gets a notification that like, okay, this particular task has been done and it is now on your own desk. It is now your own turn to contribute however like you are meant to contribute, and then like that. You also have like Asana AI also helps to like generate tasks, project timelines as well. Then you have like Ota AI. Ota AI too is very useful in terms of like meeting transcriptions, action items, sort of like summarizes like what the whole meeting is about. I know for a fact like me usually like I have to like be intentional about like taking out or writing out like action items, but like using or utilizing Ota AI just helps me to like okay highlight those action items. Or sometimes, even from research has been found that like we as humans, we tend to like miss information. So we tend to like because like our brain is actually doing a lot at a particular point in time. And so there might be like some action items that I was actually supposed to take note of that I didn't catch. So you'd have like tools like this to help you like catch that. Um and so you have like other AI tools too. The I also attached the link. So maybe after the whole presentation, the slide will be shared to you all. And so whichever one works for your own situation or workflow, then you can be able to like check them out. Um yeah, so this is kind of like a case study, but I feel like you would have already like read it already. Imagine you're managing like five simultaneous like donor funded programs. So you have like multiple tasks across multiple projects. That's like a lot. So using tools like this just helps you be able to like efficiently manage them. And then going on, you have like in terms of like team building and like technical skill growth. Um this is very like very important or very useful like in organization. Um, in terms of like let's say for instance you would have progress meetings with like your project managers and like other teams of like your whatever project you're working on or of like your entire company or establishment. So before that you want to also like ensure that like basically every team member is being like developed. Like everybody's like your employees are not like stagnant in terms of like growth. So these are kind of like tools also infused or integrated with AI. Like I said, basically every product now like has like an AI component of it. Like the whole world, like I feel like the whole world is just unnecessarily crazy about AI. That's the honest truth. But yeah, but all the more reason why like you just have to utilize AI as a competitive like advantage. Like because the world is going, or the whole like trend or the wave right now is on like the AI direction. And so you want to be able to move with the wave or and not the opposite. If not, you will just be left behind at the end of the day. And so you have like Coursera AI, you have Duolingo AI, you have Mirror. Um, I've personally used Mirror, like we used Mirror in a particular coursework, like it was the professor that actually um because the professor actually said we should use like Miro AI. So, um, yeah, you would have situations where like your professors or even like your organizations will ask you that use this particular AI tool, and you'll be left behind if you don't know how it works or if you can't utilize the tool. Then there's also like Khan Academy. These are like tools to just help you to like improve your skill. And then with the use of like AI, it just helps to improve like your learning process or learning curve. And then so imagine like you are a corporate trainer, or let's say for instance the the situation of like success currently, who is like um the lead in terms of like leadership skills and engagement and all of that. So imagine like so basically she would be managing like a lot of or different aspects of like the WMI like training or leadership and sessions, talking about like the webinar sessions, talking about the the medical sessions, like that's the sessions related to like medical professionals. And then there's this one. So like there's a lot of like these different parts that you want to be able to like assess and try to like assess them and see like, okay, which of those learning tools or which of this learning contents will be very beneficial to this group of people based off of like the context or based off of like what they're trying to or what you want to develop or improve their skill in. So yeah, and then moving on, I know like a lot of us are tending into like content creation. So you want to be able to like edit, do voiceover. And sometimes like you don't even have like the time to be able to like spend to like do all those like video editing. Or maybe sometimes like you already have like the content down, and then you now have to like okay practice like you talking about the content or saying the content. You now have like AI distant AI tools, AI assistive tools that can be able to that can learn your voice and use your voice to like create the content. So you have tools like CapCut AI, you have Descript. So basically like I've already like put down like informations of like the different contexts that they are very like usable or beneficial for. And then imagine like Mensa, a content creator, so he needs to like probably create bilingual educational video content using English and Tweet. So with no video editing background or budget for production. And so that means like in this regards now, you might want to like outsource, let's say for instance, you're an individual person and like you're into content creation and your content creation is probably for like for non-profit. You just want to like pass across like a particular information of let's say epigenetic type 2 diabetes. So you want to just create like awareness on that, and like you also have like other like projects or work you're working, probably a corporate worker or a full-time worker, but this is something you're passionate about. And so like you want to be able to like utilize tools like this to like cut down time and everything. So you'd have like situations like this that these AI tools could be very beneficial to you. And then in terms of engineering specifically, like I said, AI has been like infused into like a lot of like products. So basically, if you would have noticed like from the previous like tools I've been sharing, you will see that like some of these tools are tools like we've been using before, like we already know them. But right now you have like the AI aspect to it, like they've been infused with AI. So you just have to like upskill, or you just have to like learn how to like utilize this AI tools into like your workflow. So there's AI assistant MATLAB like for like to help you with code generation. A lot of times you want to like generate a script to be able to like um do like a control or achieve like a control algorithm or a simulation. So you'd have like that into then you have like Autodesk for generative design. So you'd have like situations where you want, let's say for instance, you want to like create a particular design of you're working on a project where you have to like design solar panels for like a community park. And so um you can probably like utilize the AI aspect to be able to like understand, okay, yeah, but how large this park is with the space or given the available space, like how much solar panels will be able or will be useful or can be utilized to be able to like power that community park, something like that. So you have like other tools. So you have like ANSYS, you have Julius, you have Codium too. So that could help you in this other part in like Codium in terms of like code completion and charts, basically helping you to like so the time you would use to like debug or you used to like probably going through like Stack Overflow to search for like, okay, how do I solve this particular piece of code or like how do I solve this particular error? So this just helps you to be able to like easily like identify the error and like solve it. So yeah. So for instance, let's say you're running like a CFD simulation for thesis. And so each simulation now would probably like take maybe let's say 8 hours, which is actually true. And so you utilize your ANSYS Sim AI to be able um to accelerate like for instance like the Python scripts you're using or maybe Julius AI to like visualize and interpret maybe like the sweep data. So yeah, and then moving on, you have like for instance for medical professionals or like students. In terms of like medicine, like I found like Ada Health, it helps with like as an AI symptom like checker. These are basically for these two parts, these are just ways, this like for engineering professionals and also medical professionals. These are like tools that I know like some engineering slash medical professionals are like currently like using or utilizing. Then you have like Nuance DAX. So for ambient clinical, AI clinical documentation. So in terms of it helps you to be able to like identify or help you to like document or in terms of like I know like documentation from um discussing with my friends usually like takes a lot of time in terms of like documentation. So it just helps you achieving like a comprehensive organized documentation of the clinical like experiment and all that you did. And then you have like AI powered pathology, for instance, to assist pathologists in diagnosing cancer from digital tissue slides. Um, you also have so all this some of these are professional tools. So when I say professional tools, it means like it's probably been approved by your company or establishment as a whole, like and it has been vetted and it has been validated that okay, yes, you as medical professionals are yes are free are approved are permitted to use this tool to help like enhance uh the whole process. And so I think a note of points that is very important is that all AI clinical tools must be used under qualified supervision. So, and again, AI assists, AI and things like support. It does not like replace or like, um, yeah, it does not replace like clinical judgment. So just something to take note. Always and always verify AI outputs against clinical guidelines. And this is not just clinical guidelines too, like even in previous, like I've shared like previous tools before, AI does hallucinate. Sometimes in terms of like generative AI, sometimes like you ask the AI questions that it probably doesn't know about and it just gives you like a wrong response. And so that is why like you building yourself like foundationally is very, very important because if you don't build yourself foundationally, like if you don't develop like if you don't develop yourself as a subject matter expert in that area, like there's no way you'll be able to like flag that what the AI gave you is actually like incorrect. And so that is why like it's very so that is why like I think I've been sort of like pushing that like AI self to like assist you. You are the main person, you are the main player or the main character here. So yeah. And then this is just kind of like a framework of like just utilizing this AI tools like GPT, Claude. I know a lot of you are already using it and you probably already know. So just kind of like also using like the craft framework, which is like the contents. Like for instance, I am a graduate student at a this so university preparing this on a particular topic. So you want to be like as specific as possible because that is where because like I said, this generative AI, like they basically like scrape a lot of like data from the internet, like a large amount. There's a lot of data, like there's a lot of noise on the internet, and so you want to be as specific as possible to get like the information or the exact information that you really want as a person. And so, you can also assign AI an expert role to help like shape its perspective. The act probably act as a senior development economist with like 20 years of field experience in sub-Saharan Africa. And then like, okay, what is the action you want the AI tool to take? So in that particular role, write a three-paragraph executive summary with three data-backed recommendations for policymakers. And so, how do you want the format to be like? He doesn't want you to just write a three-paragraph. Like, how do you want it to come up? Like, to how do you want the output to be? So, use bullet points under like both headers. Keep total length. You don't want you don't want the text to be more than 300 words. Avoid jargon. Yeah, so you want to be like as specific as possible, like of what you want. So you want to specify the structure, the length. You also want to specify like the tone. How do you want it to be? You also want to like, okay, what is it? Do you want it to be more professional? Do you want it to be warm? Do you want it to be cold? So write in a confidence, evidence-based persuasive tone appropriate for a UN level audience. You also want to give like a highlight of like what the who's the person that does. So research findings, so users who apply structured prompting get 40 to 60% better AI output quality than those who don't. So you want to give it as much information as possible and not as much only information as possible, but you want to be able to like structure it in a way that the AI also like understands. Because if you do, so like you want to sometimes like you want to think of AI as like a probably like a 5-year-old that you're teaching because like it's not a human being that basically like understand context and everything. So you want to be able to like explain and give everything specifically as and as much information as possible. And then moving on, I just wanted to share like this is just an example of like how like if you're not using AI or if you, and then if you're using AI, like how I could probably like just improve. This is just like a summary of like what we've kind of like discussed or what I've just like discussed in the past, in the previous slides. Let's say, for instance, you're writing a project proposal. Typically, it might take like 4 to 6 hours to draft from scratch. But with AI, you can be able to like develop like that a full draft in like in less than 10 minutes with craft. And one thing I usually like advise people is that make sure like if you're using AI, make sure like the content, especially in terms of like generating documents or in terms of like generating like text, in terms of like generating something like a creative document, something that you know like okay, it's supposed to be tied to you or it's supposed to be personalized to you. Um AI currently doesn't have like a personalization in terms of like you, like who you are as an individual. So what I usually advise, like if you want something, you want to like start with, okay, think about first of all think about based on like your knowledge, based on your experience, and maybe you can also like do research whatever you want to do like first make sure you generate like your own this thing, have like your own like idea, like your own skeletal structure of like what you want and like what like you are envisioning like the final project or prompts, and then using that vision, then that is what you utilize to be able to like create like you prompt the AI to create like what you need. And then from there, that should be like your draft. Like I said, full draft. So that should be like a draft. That should not be like your final document. So you want to like now come back and okay, this is enough information. This is a starting point. And then from there you can now move to like, okay, refine. Okay, this is actually not relevant. This doesn't make sense. And then you remove, or actually I actually need to add this particular or specific information into this document. So yeah, that's an example. And then I already mentioned before, summarize research papers, probably like design in terms of graphic design, design a flyer, also probably prepare a donor progress report. You could this thing, you could start a script like you know, okay, you already know, like you've gone through like what your data, like how your data is, you already know like different sessions. Like if you that's why like if you don't have that information, there's no how you cannot be able to like prompt the AI, because like if you prompt the AI without like no particular information, it will just give you gibberish most of the times, or sometimes it will just give you something generic that every person can be able to like get, or like that's something generic that even gives you might not even be applicable to like what you actually want. So yeah. And then moving on, um just have been saying, just want to like stress that the fact that like we should all like use AI like responsibly and ethically. So with power comes responsibility. So what every responsible AI user should know is that always verify. I think I've already like this thing highlighted that before. AI can hallucinate. So it can confidently tell you that this is the right information, but that is actually incorrect. And so you have to also like cross-check this in facts. And then also protect privacy. Never impute a what's it called? An intellectual content, or like something that's been like that it's like a content that your organization have said like it is confidential. Never, that's confidential business data or like patient or into AI tools. Treat it as a public search engine. So except for tools that have been approved and permitted for use in particular context by your organization. So that is very important. And so always give credits. I know like even there was a class I took on like AI design. So basically, if the professor allowed us to utilize like AI for doing like the design process and everything. So, but what he always stressed out, or what he always stresses is like whenever part we use AI, we should make sure to be transparent and give credit that like, okay, this AI actually helped like assisted with this work. And so most institutions now have AI disclosure policies, which is true. Also be mindful of the bias. I know I'm currently working on the research now, just to, in terms of like engineering design, how like bias can be perpetuated into like AI generated content, and that might influence a designer's decision or the designer's perspective in trying to like develop or design a particular product. So you have to be very careful or mind the bias. So AI inherits biases from like data, that like training data. So imagine like, so you have like a whole lot of content in the internet. You have like people giving like their different perspective. It might, and those perspectives might actually very biased. And so it's the AI tools or these generative or LLMs are pulling from such kind of content. So you want to be able to like mind the bias, like identify like, okay, this is actually a biased text or a biased sentence or fact. And then add your own voice, which I've also like specified, like I've been like hammering on previously. AI is just a launch pad. So it is your unique expertise. You are the value. It is you that matter. Add your own personal context, add your own personal experience. That is what makes like your content rich. And then try to stay in control. Make sure you're the one making the final decisions. AI should recommend, and then you should now choose. You have the discretion, or you have, except probably in, let's say, repetitive task that like, okay, you already know this is what's going to happen. This is the final decision. Let's say, for instance, in a manufacturing environment, there's one particular way. Is a repetitive task. There's one particular way to create, let's say, a mouse. So it's the same process, it's the same thing all over again. And that is like different. Let's say, for instance, in healthcare, like let's say like you're looking at different patients, and every patient has like a particular situation and stuff. So like just that example, make sure like you are the one assessing with your human judgment and your human expertise and making the final call. And yeah, this is just like a data from McKinsey of like time, like possible time that can be reclaimed. Basically, 29 plus hours can be saved per week, and which translates to 116 plus hours like freed per month. And then you would have like 3 weeks extra capacity per year. So yeah. So AI opportunities for like um probably not only women, but yeah, for like if you're a student, if you're a professional, or like a community leader or working professional. So this is just a summary of like ways or like tools you can be able to like utilize for your like your work. Um So you could, for I've already said like AI research, academic writing. There's like for graduate student, maybe like you have there's academic fellowship or grant proposal. You can utilize that. Um, and maybe Richard networking map. Yeah, there's a lot of like data analysis and all of that. And then for working professionals for like project and team management, for brand and design, like content creation, business development, pitch preparation, and the rest. And this is, I know probably time is gone, so maybe we'll skip this part, but like you can do it on your own. Yeah, try. Maybe you can use Ledge, you can use GPT, Claude, or Gemini. Open any of this and then try to test this out and like compare like what output it gives you and try to like assess the quality of the output it gives. And this is kind of like an action plan. So I think one thing important here that I should just highlight is you as an individual, you as a person, don't just be that person that just use the tool or just like you just don't just sit at the end user role. Like try to understand like how this actually works because that's what will make you like different from other people. Because like you have a lot of people that are scared like, bro, I'm not gonna be using. I attended like a class even here in the US and like there are some of the people like they're never going to use AI and they don't so like that is how some people already feel like threatened with AI. You will see a lot of like work at a lot of people like okay AI is gonna change our or AI is gonna take our jobs and stuff. So but what makes you like different from the other people is how you're able to like utilize or integrate AI into like your workflow and then being able to know or have that knowledge of like how this AI actually works and then you understand that okay yes this is how I could be able to utilize it, and this is what makes sense for me to utilize in my workflow. Um, yeah, so this is the references, and then if you need like further readings, then you could like check this out. And then just to as a final closing point, the future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways by Robert Greene Mastery. So um learning AI as like is a great skill for you to learn and understand and see like how you can be able to utilize them. So AI is your competitive edge. Your company can use your leadership, use every tool available to amplify your impact starting today. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to the presentation. I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, then yeah, I can take them now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mariam. This was such a beautiful presentation. And may I also add that, just to comment on your slides, they are very beautiful, very informative, and well thought out. Thank you for putting your time to make sure that we have such comprehensive information. We have a question here, and it says, how do you overcome the issue of being told that no AI-generated information or content will be accepted?
Okay, so this is kind of like a contextual like basis, I would say. So I know like there are some classes or some courses or some establishments or some places where they will ask you that like in this particular company or establishment, like no AI, like no use of AI at all. So in that case, and you would have signed like a memorandum or something, you actually have to like confirm to that because not a memorandum actually, like what's the document called? You would have signed that particular document that like ties you or that binds you to the fact that like you have to conform to that particular clause or statement that you shouldn't use AI tools. So in that case, like there's no two way about it. However, you as an individual, in terms of like let's say for instance, like developing yourself, improving your skills, you personally can be able to like utilize AI to do whatever you want as far as like or maybe like a personal content that doesn't like tie or link to like um your organization or like whatever company you're part of, then in that particular situation or context, you can use like AI for whatever. And there are courses too, like here that'll tell you like you cannot use AI for this particular course, and you just have to if not, you're already breaching like academic integrity, which might lead to like extreme cases like you being expelled out or like you even failing like that course. So yeah, I would say like it tends to be like on a like case by case or contextual basis. And I would say that like currently right now, organizations are now realizing the fact that like there's no like you can't do with AI currently, and that is why you're seeing like so many like products. You see like Netflix AI, you see like I've seen like MATLAB AI, like a lot of like products already like infusing AI into there's kind of like an AI craze right now. So you already have like organization initially before like you have like company like you're not going to know AI content, know what you're not using AI for anything, but right now you have like companies or establishment actually encouraging or even pushing their employees to actually like use AI in the workflow. Like I gave like an example in the fact previously, like with the Microsoft the Sync pilots. So you have like such situations. So it's kind of like dependent on like the situation.
Yeah, that's true. I also want to add that for some people, I was filling a form, I think some weeks back, and I was told, do not use AI for your responses. And I feel the reason why they did that it was because of the context. They want to hear your own original thoughts. Like you mentioned in your slides, a lot of people completely outsource their thinking to AI. So that's why some organizations will be like, okay, for this, we wouldn't want any AI generated content. We want to hear or get your original thoughts because a lot of people have not gotten to the point of using AI to the point that they are able to put in their own contextual thinking and say, okay, this is my thoughts, and maybe just use AI to like cut down time, which is what we're talking about today. So thank you so much, Mariam. This is such a great session. Personally, I learned a lot of new things, and I'm sure everyone who attended this session did too. We're over by 10 minutes, and I see there are no more questions. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining. This is the Advancing Women's Economic Power. Amma, can you put your question in the chat? Okay. This is the Advancing Women's Economic Power session, and we are sure that as we apply these tools, in our different endeavors and what we are doing, both as students, career professionals, and business owners, we are going to see huge results and we're going to save time. I love what was included in one of the last slides Mariam showed on how this time you reclaim can be, you can move it into other parts of your life that really need your attention. And thank you, Maria, for still emphasizing that this does not completely outsource our thinking, but that we should put in our original thoughts and, just use it to kind of cut down the excess time that we spend doing a lot of background research and everything. I also want to reflect on this movie I watched, Hidden Figures. I don't know if anyone has watched that movie. So it's kind of a throwback movie showing how computers were human beings. And then when the first version of computer came, it was like a whole room, and still these ladies were able to, because they were really gifted, they were still able to out outplay that machine. So it's not like saying that AI has, would I say, overthrown humans. The human brain is very complex, right? But we are able to manage our time and the work we do. So there's a question I see in the chat. I don't know, Mariam, can you? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll to read that.
okay. I'm reading it right now. I think currently right now the fact is like there's some AI checkers that are actually not accurate. And we're getting to a time where like the AI is as good as like the humans. Like even how I would write now, like it's difficult for me um to detect like if it's an AI or so I would say most of these AI checkouts too, like, are not actually like reliable, to be honest, in terms of it trying to like detect like the AI generated content. But that aside, what I usually advise is, or even like my advisor to have already said it, like also advice. If you want it to improve like your flow or your sentence, like don't input your whole AI or sorry, don't input your whole content into the AI tool. Like try to like cut out like which part or which area do you want the AI to help you like improve, and like that should
Yeah.
be the only part that you like feed into um the um
Yes.
the AI, the chat interface to help you to like improve. I think that is one thing I would advise
Mhm.
with regards to probably like reducing that particular situation. But um yeah, I can't really say much as regards to like it's getting flagged as AI generated, to be honest. If you said you wrote it naturally, then you did write it naturally, then you and yourself, like you wrote it naturally, and then you just actually ask the AI to improve the write-up. Yeah, but I think what I would just advise is don't impute or don't insert like your whole like content to help it improve at the same time. Try to like include like chunks, and then from you including like chunks, and then you're able to see like how it helps you like improve. Then you could also like have like the idea, review and refine, and like structure it to make it like flow well, if that makes sense. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mariam. This is so helpful, such a helpful session. And yes, like you mentioned, AI checkers can also be wrong. So that's also something to have at the back of our minds. Thank you very much. Any other last comments? Okay.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Success. I'm glad I was able to touch on this AI productivity, or utilizing AI as a productivity tool. Hopefully a lot of us got something out of it. So yeah. And feel free to reach out if you have like any more questions or like any help with anything. So yeah.
Thank you, Mariam. Mariam is one of us, so we can always reach out to her. All right. Phoebe, any announcements before we go?
Um, no announcements. But first of all, thank you so much, Mariam, for the very informative session. It was very helpful for me personally as well. So thank you so much for your extensive explanation on the use of AI in productivity. The only thing that I would want is to encourage everyone to show up again next month. We are going to have another WMI alumni talking through. So this is Dr. Onesai from Zimbabwe, so we know her. She's from WMI. She's coming to talk to us through a topic called the high performance woman, hormones, energy, and stress management for sustainable career success. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're all looking forward to that. But also do us a favor and invite another scholar who you think hasn't shown up for the sessions so far. Just send them the invitation when we send out the invitation. Encourage them to also come for next month's session. That's all the announcement I had. Success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for that session because it's an only ladies session. So for our male counterparts who joined us today, we understand that you benefited from this session, but next session is strictly for the ladies, okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.